up a little bit. We shall get going. My blow pipes are made out of the same steel as my hand tools. Those don't stick because they're cold. We've got a hot box over there that just heats up that metal so it'll the glass will adhere, but it didn't take much. Alright, for the small pumpkins, one gather of glass, no problem. Again, think of this like a bowl of honey. It's just a big old pot full of liquid glass. Just kind of dip and turn. Get some of that glass out of there. So if I'm making ornaments, like I said, or small pumpkin, plenty of glass, no problem. But we're making the medium, so you can only get so much out of there at once. I'm just gonna cool this off a little bit. I'll go back, dip it again, get another layer. Just a layering process. Using what's called a block. It's just a carved out piece of cherry soaked in water. Just me kind of bully that glass onto something resembling centered. Perfectly centered-ish, as we call it. I make them perfect, they don't look handmade. That's not what people want. All right, so while I got that glass centered and it's clear, I'll get a little bubble started. It's solid right now. I'm just gonna add some air to this pipe and cap it. That'll trap that air. That air's gonna heat up and want to expand quick, but that exit's blocked. That pressure only has one place to go. Yep, that pressure only has one place to go. Probably helps if you get a good seal. There we go. You can see a little bubble started now. It's my favorite part of the process. This step is called sitting here letting it cool off a little bit. Trained professionals. So I said earlier, when it works right, it's 30 years of practice. When they break, brother, I'm hourly. You know what I mean? All right, so I'm gonna get a slightly bigger block. We'll set that right there. One more dip.
So that's just clear glass?
Yep, just layering up some clear. Now I've got that bin of green, that emerald, and it's the same class in that tank. It just has the metal oxides added that give it the color. It's the same stuff as when you go to like Home Depot and get house paint. They got that machine that just adds the oxides that give you the shades and stuff. I keep that molten glass at 2100. This reheater sits at about 2300 or so. Y'all can feel that back there. Just know my body's blocking about 90% of that. So here for you. I wake up and think like I could have been in high school. Accent colors are over there on that table. Same thing, I'll just roll right through them. Again, if y'all have questions while I'm working, just shout. I'm usually staring this way, but that's just where the equipment is. Accent colors, those out of the way real quick. O-I-O right there. So I need to blow that bubble out a little bit before I start shaping up that pumpkin. I'm going to use this table, it's called a marber. Marbering the glass, it's kind of like that block. It just lets me get it nice and centered. Pulls off the surface a little bit, gives it some structure. It's almost backwards. We got green body, orange stem. And I love making non-traditional. If you look out there, so many of them are metallic and blue and no right way. So doing this kind of glass blowing, I don't want it to blow out like an even round bubble, but I can't, if I'm only trying to get the air to one spot, I can't really spot heat that. So this kind of glass blowing, I heat the whole thing up. I'm going to use this table to cool off the parts I don't want to move. And as long as the hot spot that I want is the actual hot spot, that's where that air is going to travel. So I'm pulling off the sides of that bubble. A little puff is just driving that bubble right down towards the bottom. Blown out pretty good. Now shaping those pumpkins, if you look on the ground behind me, that's a tall aluminum mold. It's called an optic mold. If you look at the profile on the top, it'll give you a pretty good idea where that pumpkin shape comes from. Now that this thing's a bubble, I'm just going to get this hot, drop it in that mold, blow it out a little bit. It should take on that shape, and then we're almost there. I saw this part on YouTube, it should work. Sorry, I got like 4 toes. Same ones over and over. So I'm going to start to delineate a spot where I can get this back off of that blowpipe. I'm cutting in what's called a neckline. I just need a weak link where I can remove this when it's time. And you can hear that texture. If I got that hot enough to just cut it in, I'd lose all those lines. So it just takes a couple heats.
neck, blow that bottom out a little bit. Just keep that little bottom cap and round that part out, and we're all but done. So like I said, get all your tools ready in advance, you know. And that glass, now that it's hollow, it cools off that fast. I was ready, but I'm gonna go get that heat again.
Now is that wood too?
What's that?
Is that wood too?
Yeah. Like I said, just incrementally try to keep as much of that texture as possible. So I'm slowly flattening that bottom part out. Back out, flatten it back out. Rinse and repeat. Alright, so that pumpkin part's made. Just try to even out that heat a little bit, get the whole thing hot so I know it's even, let it cool off. We'll go make that stem. And you see, I was trying to heat up the, excuse me, the top, but that bottom is already hotter. It's going to stay hotter. So, just keep that top warm and let that bottom cool off a little bit. I believe they trust me with this stuff. Like, that's crazy to me. A lot of these colors don't visually present properly until they cool off. It looks pretty much black. It's the most gorgeous emerald green. I love this color so much. I think I need to clean my palette light a little bit. Kind of see that green when it's in the light. All right. So last flash, just making sure it's evenly-ish heated. I need that neckline to be the weak spot. I'm not really cutting, just cold steel is going to pull heat out of that one area. It's like you've ever rinsed out an empty coffee pot that's still warm. You know, glass doesn't like that rapid temperature change. So hopefully That's the leak part. All right, so that's not going to get any warmer. It's just going to get cold quick. Make that stem. Same thing. I can't get enough in one. I don't want to wait for this to cool off. A bucket of water should do just fine. Some well thought out reason I put this on the other side of that mold, so we'll just come over here. Quick heat, and we're just going to go drop it right on top of that thing. Same thing where that stem got cut. I mean, I cut it, but you kind of break it really. So there's a little bit of sharp glass. Smelt that in nice and smooth. And that stem should have set up enough by now. Grab that pumpkin, open up that kiln, set her in the back on the empty side, close the door. It's like they make themselves, you know? That's pure pressure. It's a bad look. They started it. If y'all have any questions, shout out on